happiness and success coach and your host of Happy and Healthy, where we explore and discover all the many ways of keeping you feeling happy and healthy. And stay tuned for my Good to Know segment near the end of our show, where I've always got something good to share with you. So today we're going to talk about keeping us safe and on the streets and the roads with our very special guest, Rochelle Sobel. And Rochelle, thank you so much for being my guest today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. And so Rochelle Sobel is the founder and president of ASIRT, Association for Safe International Road Travel. And actually, it really affects us in every single day, whether or not locally and or internationally. So, Rochelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about ASIRT and what was your inspiration for starting it?
Yes. So on May 3rd, 1995, my then 25-year-old son, Aron, was killed in a bus crash in Turkey. He was killed along with 23 other passengers on that bus. The passengers were from all different places in the world. And Aron was finishing medical school. He had actually was going to come home to graduate 2 weeks from the time he was killed. But he wanted to do his final medical rotation by volunteering in a hospital abroad. And then his plan was to tour Turkey for just a few days. And on the way to the airport, the tragedy occurred. And of course, it was so mind-boggling and terrifying. I had spoken to him just a few hours earlier. And when I could think straight, I started to call up various people in various organizations to find out, well, how many people die on the roads and how many Americans die traveling in other places? And is this an issue? And what about in the US itself? And I discovered some horrendous facts and decided to get to work immediately on this very, very serious issue. And Aron was killed on May 3rd. July 18th would have been his birthday. And that's when ASIRT was founded, on that day, just a few months later.
Wow. So it's terrible to think that, that you go travel in other countries and you're on a bus or somewhere and you think that everything is in place for your safety. And I'm very sorry, to hear about Aron and the tragic bus accident.
Thank you. And I just want to tell you that one of the shocking things we found out just based on what you just said is that actually being killed in a road crash is the single greatest cause of death for travelers abroad, for healthy Americans traveling abroad, and for other people in other nations traveling to other countries. It's quite shocking, and we learned this actually through the State Department. We asked the State Department to collect the data, the US State Department, and that's what they discovered.
Wow. So I know that you're involved locally and globally and with other international organizations. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so we do have both global and local partners. ASIRT is connected to the United Nations Road Safety Collaboration, the World Health Organization, the Global Alliance of NGOs for Road Safety, which has now over 100 countries, NGOs working together for road safety. We have we've inspired the forming of a caucus, global caucus for road safety in the US. That is a very active and growing caucus from the US and extremely important and valuable. Richard Hudson is our co-chair and is very involved. As a matter of fact, he just came out with a wonderful statement about Global Road Safety Week. Just today, it was put in the congressional record, and I would like to talk about that as well. ASIRT works with Study Abroad. We try to inform them about the risks of travel in other countries. The World Bank. We work also with corporations all over the world and to train and teach and provide information about road safety, with the tourism industry, with humanitarian organizations that are sending people abroad. One of the things that we do that we feel is very helpful is we have road safety reviews on over 95 countries. They're terse, but very, very, really informative, so that before somebody, and they're country specific, so that before somebody goes abroad, they know all about the road risks and they can make informed travel choices.
That's so important. Just getting back to what you just mentioned, how would they find that information? Would they contact you, or is it listed?
Yes, they would contact us or go on the ASIRT website, asirt.org, for information. We also give webinars for corporations, organizations, and study abroad to spread the word. Any resource we can give or help, we feel is vital.
Yes, it really is, especially since you just quoted that statistic that the number one reason for death for travelers is a road accident. I mean,
Yeah, and
it's mind-boggling. I just can't get over that. That's it's not something that you hear often enough.
correct. And it's not only, it gets worse. I have to tell you, Nira, that 1.35 million people die every year on the roads of the world. An additional 50 million are injured. And it is the single greatest cause of death in every country for young people 5 to 29 years of age. And quite upsettingly, every 24 seconds, someone dies in a road crash. So just in the short time we've been speaking, you can think of how many people have already lost their lives, how many families are in mourning, and how many dreams have been shattered.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know personally that our family has been affected by that. We've had some young cousins that were killed tragically in car accidents all over the world, and it's just terrible. So I'm so happy that that you founded this organization and that you're really making a difference. It's really amazing. So you're even making a difference locally, even for us right here. And so I know that you have, there's an event coming up. So can you tell us about that?
Yes, this week happens to be the 6th Global UN Road Safety Week, and its theme is Streets for Life. And the idea is that countries all over the world are joining together to call attention to the issue and to really take action. And the thought behind it is streets must be livable, and they are shared spaces. They must be shared by pedestrians and by cyclists, and as well as by vehicles, by scooters, by everybody who uses the road. And everyone has a shared responsibility and a shared space. And that's what we're pushing. Streets for Life is such a, I think, an important concept. And to that end, our organization, because ASIRT also works locally, we work both globally and locally, we have put together, along with our partners, and I would like to call attention to MCCPTA, the Montgomery County Council, PTA group, and they are working with us for a very, very important project. And we have essentially designated a number of very dangerous intersections in our own Montgomery County. And we will be meeting there next Sunday, May 23rd at 2 o'clock. We have invited council members to join us as well. Most important, we want community people to join us, and we are going to call attention. And I want to hold this placard up just one more time, because I think it's powerful and it explains exactly what we're doing. We have designated dangerous intersections that we need and want changes to take place. We're going to ask the people who come together too why they're dangerous and what they see as possible solutions for the issue. And to get the political leaders to be involved in this as well. And we've chosen really incredible council members who are so dedicated to it. And we feel that this event will truly make a change, and we're very excited about it. And we would like everybody to join us. Can I tell you some of the intersections that we will be at?
Yes, yes. I was just going to ask you if you could please list some of the intersections so that
Yes, I would
where
love
to
to.
go.
So one of them, two of them actually are going to take place an hour earlier at 1 o'clock. And they are on Georgia and May in Rippling Brook, and at Georgia and Regina in the same area. And we are planning a ghost shoe memorial at that point. A very tragic thing occurred just a few weeks ago. Claire Grossman was killed on Georgia near Rippling Brook in Aspen Hill. She was getting off a bus in the evening and trying to cross the 6-lane road, and she was killed. And quite tragically, 5 years ago, her husband, Robert Grossman, was killed just about 2 blocks from that very same spot. So that will be at 1 o'clock, and we would like everybody to join us. Action must be taken for a family to go through this horrendous event twice. This horrendous situation is just really awful, and we must do something. And then following that, all the other events will take place at 2 o'clock, and they will be simultaneous. So I'm going to read the list, and please, people out there, please join us. We want to hear your voices. We want your recommendations, and most of all, we want action. So Route 55 and Shakespeare Road in Germantown, for those of you who live near there. 355 and Middlebrook in Germantown as well. Georgia and University in Wheaton. Montgomery Street and East-West Highway. I will be at 7 Locks Road and Gainsborough Road, and Council Member Andrew Friedson will speak at that point. Macon Road and Ashley Drive in Veers Mill, and Dewey Road and Olden in Veers Mill.
Okay. So we're thank you for listing those, and we're going to come back to talking about that. We're just going to take a short break, and I'm Nira Berry, your host of Happy and Healthy, and we'll be right back.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Nira Berry, your host of Happy and Healthy, and we're speaking with Rochelle Sobel. She's the founder and president of ASIRT, Association for Safe International Road Travel. And she was just telling us about all the local events that are going to be happening where they've identified dangerous intersections. So Rochelle, you want to just tell us a little bit more about that and who they might expect to be there?
Yes. First of all, I really hope that you will join us. Your expertise is exactly what we need, and your passionate voices about road safety. And I also want you to know that these are not the only dangerous intersections by any means. And when you have an opportunity, because there will be a council members there and political spokespersons, I would like for all of you to talk about other intersections that you find dangerous as you go about your business, to walk, to play, to bike, to drive a vehicle, because it is extremely important. This is such an important week for us, Global Road Safety Week. And one of the things that we are emphasizing is the danger of speed. Speeding is responsible for so many deaths, and it's something that we can change, that we can take care of by our own sense of responsibility and by really enforcement of the laws that are there. We're lucky we live in a country where the laws are good. We just have to enforce them, perhaps lower some of the speed limits in many areas. There are countries that are still fighting to get legislation, and we join with them in this battle to save precious lives on the roads.
That's wonderful. So I hope that people show up for this event and just learn more about how we can make our lives safer in general. So I wanted to just to find out, like, I know that there's a lot of information, like statistics and stuff about the roads. So do you want to just go over some of those?
Yeah, I want to tell you some of the reasons why we got so involved locally as well, because Aron was killed abroad. We really started abroad. So there were several things that really impassioned us and made us move in this direction. One was the data, the information that's been coming out, both in the UN, in the United States, and in our local areas. So over 42,000 people died in road crashes in 2020, and that represents an 8% increase from 2019. And the first jump in 4 years, the deaths are going in the wrong direction, which really impelled us forward. In Maryland, our own state of Maryland, according to the National Safety Council, deaths also are up 12% from 2019 and 17% compared to 2018. That's really inexcusable. And those of us who live in Montgomery County, we know last year the horrendous deaths that were occurring, especially young people, pedestrians, when they were crossing streets. And what we discovered also is so far this year, there have been 66 crashes involving pedestrians. That is simply unforgivable. What ASIRT did last spring really, is we created a pedestrian questionnaire. So we designated a pinpoint near our homes and did a circumference 2.5 to 3 miles around it. And we sent out a questionnaire to people asking them what roads were most dangerous for them and what recommendations they would have. We put that together and we sent it to Montgomery County Department of Transportation. We involved our wonderful Vision Zero friends in it, and we are trying to get that improved. So this is in part an outgrowth of the questionnaire. And we're hoping that that questionnaire will be a model for other people who live in other neighborhoods who will do the same thing, because there's nothing like the voice of the people.
Absolutely. I noticed that the numbers went up really high recently. During COVID, do you think that, not everybody was driving to work? I mean, it's surprising that the numbers have gone up. Like, what do you attribute that to?
It is so counterintuitive. So I just want to point out that it was happening before, but one would have thought it would have lessened because of COVID. And actually the opposite occurred. Yeah. So when there were fewer vehicles on the road, I think people had the sense that they could drive faster because there was no one around. And they also stopped doing things like putting on seatbelts, drinking and driving, texting, all of those things that it was so ingrained in us, hopefully, went by the wayside.
Sounds like the Wild West. Like they just thought, anything's possible now.
That's exactly what happened. And in a sense, it was a perfect storm, because in the beginning, there were fewer crashes, but the crashes led to deaths because of the horrendous speed. So there were fatalities rather than injuries. And the other issue is that there were more pedestrians and more bicyclists on the road, because that's how they were getting around. And the combination was dreadful. And unfortunately, now that the roads have opened up and people are traveling more, they have not changed their behaviors. Those same negative behaviors are still continuing. And it's really very distressing. We know better. We have to keep in our mind the shared spaces concept. The vehicles, in the mindset of the world, roads no longer belong solely to vehicles. They belong to all of us. Again, I'm going to repeat, they are shared spaces, and we have shared responsibilities.
No, I think that's a real shift in the mindset that I think the general population needs to maybe be brought more aware of that, because I know when I do travel to other countries, like for instance, if I'm in Holland or different places, that they really do respect the bicyclists being on the road, that they believe that they belong there and they should have that shared space. But you don't really see that so much here. People seem to get more annoyed when there's a bicyclist on the same road. So what do you recommend that we can, how do you recommend that we should change our mindset?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, I think there needs to be a re-education, really starting in the schools, starting from the beginning of what one is allowed to do and how one thinks about what the roads are. And we really have to start from the beginning, train. We have to have strong media campaigns, because that is a re-education, as I said before, and it's extremely important. And you know, this is the second, actually, on this Global Road Safety Week. Yesterday, I was involved in the launch of the second decade for road safety, for global road safety, which is a UN resolution, and it's going to be from 2021 to 2030. And they are emphasizing exactly what I just said. They are emphasizing the fact that roads belong to all of us. And I would love to read to you some of their solutions. The goal of this is, the goal of the decade is 50 by 30. We want to reduce deaths 50% by 2030. We had a decade before. We started the process, but we did not succeed. And we need to, we succeeded in many ways. We succeeded in raising awareness. We identified what the solutions were. We got many organizations to be involved. There was much more corporate responsibility about it, but the numbers did not go down as much as we would have wanted. And, you know, we've all been through COVID, and we talk about the vaccine and the magic of the vaccine. Well, we also have vaccine. We have a vaccine to stop this. We know how to do it. And I'm going to read to you what is being pushed with the second decade of action for global road safety. We need infrastructural changes. We need, just as you were talking about, protected bicycle lanes separated from the rest of the traffic. We need safe, affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport. We need an awareness of the dangers of speed, and a reduction of the speed limits. We need to set and enforce laws related to key risk factors, which include not wearing a seatbelt, not putting a child in a child safety seat, not using a helmet, and the helmet has to be actually fastened, not just wearing a helmet. And drink and driving and texting, and we need to support innovation, and we need to support the new exciting technologies that are coming up. And most of all, we need to realize that if lives are saved, it's because we have helped to save them. The issue is ours, our political leaders, and our infrastructural builders. We have to work together to make a huge difference.
Yeah, those are very, those goals hopefully will be achieved. If the people want to find out more information, especially about this event coming up and just in the future, can you give us your website?
Absolutely. Please notify us. Please reach us at ASIRT.org, www.asirt.org, or to me, Sobel at ASIRT.org. I will be glad to talk to you. I'd love for you to get involved. We need so much help, and it would be amazing if a groundswell of activity could move toward this. You know, other issues come and they're all, I mean, there's so many important causes, but this issue so frequently gets on the back burner. And I just want to stress the urgency of the issue, because while we sit and talk, deaths are occurring and precious lives are being lost.
Yes, absolutely. So we just have just a minute left. You know, I know you have a lot of resources that people can use. I know you mentioned a few. Is there anything?
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Please go on our website. We have a list of wonderful resources that can help you. And we ourselves are willing to do a webinar for any organization. We work with the schools. We will do really whatever it takes to make a difference. ASIRT.org. There's a whole section about resources. There's a section about data. There's a section about what's going on globally. Please visit.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. I really appreciate you being here today as my guest on the Happy and Healthy show. And we're trying to keep everybody happy and healthy. So I'm really happy that I can help you promote your event that's coming up this week that will alert people as to some of the dangerous intersections. And I wish you good luck with all that. So I'm Nira Berry, host of Happy and Healthy, and stay tuned for our next segment of Good to Know. We'll be right back.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nira Berry, your happiness and success coach and your host of Happy and Healthy. And now it's time for Good to Know, where I've always got something good to share with you that'll help you be more successful and feel like a winner in life and work, and ultimately you feel happier. Today we're going to talk about safety. And safety can encompass the physical space around us as well as how you feel emotionally. When you were born, for instance, you felt naturally safe in your mother and father's arms. You felt secure in your environment, and you had trust in your environment. And as we got older, we fell or we got physically injured, and we realized that not everything around us is safe, and we start feeling fear. When we feel less safe and feel fearful, it takes away from our happiness. We tend to worry about what can happen. For some people, your mind can go into many negative thoughts and could start spiraling out of control. Sometimes that happens. You go from one thought to another to another. But when we feel safe, it means we feel self-assured within ourselves and confident in our environment. It means that we can wake up in the morning and know deeply that we deserve to live in a safe space and have the happiness that it brings. So I say, stop worrying. The truth is, you cannot experience joy or even contentment when you are consumed by worry about what may happen. Sometimes we believe that if we worry enough, we can keep bad things from happening. I mean, it's crazy, but it's not true, obviously. But if you spend a great deal of time worrying, you'll be self-consumed and not notice important signs in your world that'll actually keep you safe and happy. You might miss someone smiling at you, and that's an opportunity for happiness, and that you may miss. Or you might miss someone signaling you that a car's coming, and that's an opportunity that danger can happen. So I recommend to my coaching clients to think about the times they worry, or if it actually serves them. Like, does it serve you to spend a lot of time worrying? So if you're ready to reduce your worry or have a question, contact me at info@niraberry.com. Thanks for watching Happy and Healthy. I'm Nira Berry, your host, and I hope you have a happy day.
Here are a couple of pedestrian safety reminders.
Never assume drivers see you.
Make eye contact as they approach.
Watch for cars.
Not just on the road, but pulling out of driveways and parking lots too.
And most importantly, be safe,
be seen.